they say all men are created equal.
Shaq Master!
I pull out the Glock.
Full of suffering succotash, son.
It's one of your nuts hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Too Sweet podcast. It's just me, Estelle, today. Lucy, as she said last week, is away on holiday. She'll be in some bar, drinking a cocktail on the beach, having some delicious meal in Spain. What can you do? So I'm here holding down the fort this week to give you our review of Dynamite 300. We share one brain cell though, so I'm sure that by osmosis, like, even though we're apart by an ocean, I'm sure that collectively together, my review will be quite reflective of her thoughts too, I imagine. But yeah, oh my God, 10 days away from All In, Dynamite 300 episodes of Dynamite, like, wow, what an occasion. It's kind of crazy, right? And 100 episodes of Collision this Saturday, which is also kind of wild. It's kind of nice being an AEW fan right now, I can't lie. I just feel like it's just win after win. Things are going really smooth. I have concerns. Because Darby Allin is back from Mount Everest. I mean, he climbed it bloody ages ago, maybe like a couple of weeks ago, right? So he's back, and it's suspected that he's been primed to come back to AEW television. So although we're very smooth sailing, I'm going to put it out there that I'm a little bit anxious that, even though in my mind I think it's pretty certain that Hangman will win come All In, but I've heard rumblings that Darby, what if he loses Hangman that is to Mox at All In, and then at All Out we have Darby versus Mox? And since I read that, I've got fear. I've got the fear in my bones. Because yeah, like I said, at the moment it's just nice. It's just nice. So yeah, hopefully things can continue down that direction. Yeah, 300 episodes, absolutely crazy. This was filmed in Ontario, California, I believe. So it was a great crowd as well, a very active crowd, which I think contributed a lot to the show. And yeah, it's just funny, isn't it? Like, who would have thought that this little show all those years ago, when they began down at Daly's Place in Florida, that, you know, now, I mean, just even the success of like the global events over the past few years. We just had Grand Slam Mexico, we've had Grand Slam Australia, the All-Ins in the UK respectively, and coming up Forbidden Door. So yeah, it's just win after win, all the signings, and yeah, to make it to Dynamite 300. I think overall the card that they put on and the people that they presented were really good choice, really reflective of the brand of Dynamite. And yeah, it's just, I feel like right now Dynamite over the past year, or since maybe the start of 2025, it's like that nerd in the background, you know, like it's just been sort of Tony Khan, just been plugging away, all the wrestlers working hard, and it's nice because it's kind of getting recognition online through its successes rather than its controversies. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with where it is right now. And I mean, how can you not be feeling the excitement when we're 10 days away from the biggest show of the year for the dub? So yeah, let's unpack it together. So to start, man, we had Hanger storming down to the ring, and he was very fired up, as you can imagine, in response to Mox's vicious attacks on him last week with the chain being choked out. And he proposes a Texas death match, which, yeah, that's a really interesting stake to the match. I think it needs it because, well, one, it really fits Hangman's character, doesn't it, of his Texas death matches that he's done with Swerve. You know, he's synonymous with Texas Death now, and Mox, you know, got a long history of deathmatch wrestling, hardcore style. Also, Mox's whole thing is, I want to see the fire, I want to see the passion. So what better way than to bring it in that violent of a match? And also, if this is to punctuate, which we hope, the end of Mox's reign, then having it be a violent bloody end with run-ins. And yeah, I hope, since I just referenced the rumour at the start of Darby, I do hope that, yeah, maybe Darby's the last run-in, maybe Darby's the guy that just pushes Hanger over the finish line, and then, you know, they can have a feud and Darby can be like, well, you know, I helped you win it, but now it's my turn and all this lot. Because I thought that was going to be Swerve, but we'll get into that because there's another fucking stipulation that could mean that Swerve potentially might not be able to challenge Hangman for a year. But yeah, I think it creates a lot of excitement, a lot of fanfare. It's a no-brainer. Yeah, why not have a Texas death match? And they'll be able to tie all the loose ends of all the stories that they've been telling, you know, the Death Riders and the Ops and all. Running a Mania, that's what I'm picturing, running a Mania. But yeah, but then I'm trying to be positive to start with, because this segment didn't fully land for me. I found it quite awkward because, yeah, like on paper, Hangman comes out and he's like, I'm pissed, I want vengeance, Texas Deathmatch, you know, I'm not here to be the happy, you know, I am appreciative and I am a fired up babyface, but I'm here for blood, I'm here for the belt. So I liked that. But then I think it was like maybe Mox that kind of threw me off here. I know he himself got kind of thrown off by the ball chants. Because, yeah, like I said, very lively crowd. But he was like, oh, you want a Texas death match, but you can't handle the pressure. And it's like, I get it, because his like whole thing has been, oh, you know, Hangman, you could never step up and be the guy. Like, you're not comfortable being the mouthpiece. You just want to be humble and kind of, you know, which I think there's like shades of Kenny. Like, Kenny's always kind of been like that as well. And that's why when people, I'm kind of just going on a tangent now, but when people have always been like, oh, why has Kenny not been the guy? His humility kind of is sort of his hubris, which is kind of nice now he's come back from diverticulitis and he's realised, oh shit, like, I knew my career was going to end, but my career could literally end tomorrow. And it feels like now he's very much in it. Not to say that he wasn't before, but yeah, same with Hangman. They're just very, not to say they weren't confident before, but they're just very self-assured at the moment. So yeah, but obviously Mox is referencing the past and being like, you know, you weren't in the past, so how do we know? But I just thought it was weird, because if Mox's whole objective is he wants Hangman to step up, but then Hangman is stepping up, it's like, it just doesn't make sense to me, like, in the character of Mox or how I perceive him to be. Why, like, to me, Mox loves blood. He's very bloodthirsty. So why did it take Hangman having to bribe him almost with the briefcase into accepting a death match? Like, Mox isn't a coward. Like, that's not within his character. He might sometimes retreat because, you know, he's overrun with the numbers game and he's intelligent, but he's not afraid of coming to bloody blows. So I just, that kind of got lost on me a bit. But anyway, yeah, how we got to that point, Mox is getting under his skin and Hangman just does like it's kind of a comedic cheap shot, actually, just right in there. They brawl and Hangman has a fork, as you do. Marina unloads strikes on Hangman, and Claudio and Yuta pick up the pieces. Then, you know, you think that's the end of the segment. Hangman's like, I'm still standing. Shit, fucking jet speed later, Jesus Christ. Claudio comes face to face with Joe and the Ops, and Marina comes from behind with the briefcase, but Hanger intercepts it, and this is my point, he demands a Texas death match. And Mox, he has to now. Maybe it's because he knows how many enemies he actually has. Like, maybe it's, oh, the Ops could come out, oh, these people could come out, Swerve could come out, Ospreay could come out, because with that type of stip, it's a free-for-all. But yeah, I still think, like, Moxley's character, why would he shy away from that? Am I the only one? Please, like, please tell me if you think like I'm the only one or if you agree with me, because it just this segment felt like out of pitch is the way I would describe it. Like just something about it was just a little bit off, even though it was hitting the beats. Something about it just it was yeah. And then Hangman, this bit as well, I found just a bit. Hangman, he said, "Oh, in case you need a reminder, I'll do whatever he takes." And then did a bookshot on Marina, which was kind of like, oh, I don't know, because then you get into the nuances of intergender wrestling, right? But for me, that's quite heelish, but not in the way of like if you'd gotten Claudia or you or even Marina, like well, maybe not Marina, I just might be a bit too heelish, and that's kind of my point. But like, say if he'd gotten Claudia, right? Because he was centering on Claudia on this segment, right? And he did like an MJF, and he bloodied him up like when MJF bloodied up Daniel Garcia. You think, fuck me, he's serious. But like this was just, I don't know, like it was just weird. It was just I just found it weird. I don't know. Sorry, I should know because I'm doing a podcast on it. I'm talking about it, but I just that's my contribution to it. My final conclusion is I just don't know. Um, and also like the whole the ops running that I'm so bored of it now. I'm sorry to say I am so bored of it. So again, like this segment it is just, but again, it's like, what can you do? Like, you're 10 days away. You need to come to blows. You need to build tension. I understand that, but I'm very much over the Death Riders, as we all are. Very much over the formula. And I'm also just disappointed because it's like 10 days away now to All In, and there's no infighting. There's no, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no setup, and I feel like there kind of should be like some tensions there, and there just isn't, and that's just disappointing because it means when they dissolve, yeah, I assume Mox would have always gone on a brick as he should. He's worked very, very hard, and he has carried that world title through, especially at the start when he became champion, kind of a really hard period because we were still in the shadows of the Punk controversy, and Punk with WWE was on such a high back then in people's mind. He really slogged it out the first half of the series. Absolutely deserves a vacation. But where the fuck does that leave the rest of the Death Riders? Claudio, Yuta especially, like what a wasted opportunity. It's like they did all of his character work in the start and then just forgot about it. So yeah, I'm excited for the death match. As I say, I have fears. Darby Allin, I have fears. I have fears. Um, it's going to be one of those matches where, I'm going to be watching it live, staying up late, and just glued to the screen, terrified, like in a state of anxiety, which is always fun. Um, hashtag I am a Mark, how disgusting. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. That it's just, yeah, yeah. Then we had the first half of the Superman promotions. This was basically like the Superman episode, with Tony Storm and Rachel Bronson. I don't know. I don't think I know her, but yeah, cool. Then we had Mina Shirakawa versus Mercedes Moné for the TBS title. This was one of the big matches. I think I was most excited for this, and obviously Okada Ibushi. This is also like a choice because it's like you've got the men's world champion sort of field, right? In the first segment of the show, and then the second segment is like the women's, because you've got Mercedes the TBS and Tony as the women's champion. So I thought that was interesting having them back to back. I thought like I stacking it a bit much at the start of the show, but then we still had Ibushi Okada as the main event. And I was like, oh yeah. So yes, it was cool that we got this as the opening match. And yeah, we had Tony Storm on commentary. She was sat with a meal, sort of taking the piss out of Mercedes with their mind games that they've been playing, and she'd also promised to Mina I don't know, I keep wanting to call her Mina, that on Collision that she will not under any circumstances get involved in the match because Misha Cow was like, do not get involved, and she was like, I won't. So, and yeah, she didn't. She stuck to her word. She was very stoic, as the commentary picked up on most of the match, apart from um at the start when Mercedes had sort of Tony Storm's face figure like printed out on the bottom of her shoe, and as she was stomping on Miyashikara, it was quite the visual. So she had the look of being taken aback or apprehension on her face for that. She sold that. Um, so yeah, this match was really 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 fun because you've got the dynamic of Mercedes and Tony and the mind games there and everything that Mercedes is doing in the ring to Mina. Tony, even though she's stoic, she's deeply contemplating because she knows she's going to go against her title for title. But also, Mina's just fucking incredible. I've been kind of scared to say this, but I think she might be like my new fave because I have like a curse with female wrestlers in AEW. Like my favorite, my ride or die, she still is like the best of the best in my heart is DMD, Dr. Britt Baker. Oh, I love that woman so much. But obviously, we all know what happened there. So yeah, although apparently she isn't leaving AEW, she said to Sean Ross Sapp that she isn't looking to leave, but there has been talks. People have been talking about that perhaps, but yes, anyway, that's bad luck. And then my second favourite after that was Mariah May. I was like, oh, I'm really connecting with her. I really love her a lot. Oop, 1 year later, out she goes, cashing that check for NXT, making that WWE money, getting her child a dream. Good for her. But also, okay. But I think that Emilia Shirakawa could be like potential to rise up as my third favourite, but I'm kind of scared to say that because every time I get really attached to a women's wrestler in AEW, it just, I don't know, they're not sticking around. So, but yeah, I absolutely adore her. She's very Willow in that she's feel good, baby face, fun, but she can get serious and hit hard, and yeah, she's got that violent streak about her, which makes her a lot more fun to root for, I think. And I like the dynamic of this match in that Mercedes, she just wants to get it out the way with as minimal injuries as she can, and Mina is ready to fight. Like, she's amped up. She wants to win the belt for herself, but also to send a message to Mercedes. And she's been beat on by Mercedes, and Tony Storm's her bestie, so she wants to be in alliance with Tony Storm and beat her up, as it were. So yeah, we had some really violent spots outside of the ring. Mina using the steps for the DDT, and then the Meteora off the apron, and the impact of which Mina hit her head on the outside. Oh, it was sickening. It was disgusting. And I like as well how violent Mina was in this match, because it was just like she wasn't a stooge, it's a very predictable match in that, well, maybe not predictable. Some people are like, oh, she might lose the TBS title to Mina Shirakawa. Yeah, she might have done, but being realistic, like, Mina was always going to lose. And she's sort of like fighting for her friend / kind of maybe more mentor. So it could be very easy to corner her into like I said, that lackey role, that stooge role that you see quite often. But she never felt like that in this match at all. It very much felt like, as I say, yes, she's fighting for the honour of Tony Storm. That's the word I'm looking for. But she's also fighting for the belt. She's in it for herself. And it was a shame that this match was kind of short. I'm not going to lie, because these girls, they were really getting into it. And every move led into another move. It was so smooth and fluid and fun. And there was still a bit of gas left in the tank, because obviously the match ended with with the inside cradle. I mean, it's Shirakawa setting up for the sharpshooter, and Mercedes was able to just, whoop. I don't know what's with the sound effects of it. Whoop. But yeah, you know what I mean? Just compact, get that compact pin in. So there was still gas left in the tank, so I'd love to see these guys go at it again, and maybe in their own program in the future, probably a bit more way in the future. They've got that history now as well. But yeah, I also liked how the inside cradle, because Tony Storm often wins with that type of pin or the roll up, but I liked it because it also showed that it can be over just like that. There's another sound effect, that click. We need a soundboard, don't we? Yeah, I liked that, because that's kind of scary, you know. Tony Storm, she sat there with her champagne and her steak and her cake, thinking, "Damn, like it could be over, just like that." So Mercedes afterwards, she wants to send a message. She starts to get a shot in on Mina, and Tony Storm comes to her aid. And Mercedes, typical heel fashion, she does a fin out and then comes back with the belt, strikes her on the back of the head, and then has some cake and throws some champagne on Luther. So yeah, very antagonizing, and I thought it was a job really well done. This landed for me much more than, as I said, the men's segment. The match was great. I mean, it doesn't hurt that there was actual wrestling in this segment. The match was great. Mina was great, as I say. Wasn't reduced down to just that lackey role. The dynamics with Tony and Mercedes were great, and it achieved in continuing to build, via proxy of Mina Shirakawa, the match as a vehicle. It continued to build the tension of these two going at it, and I still really do not know who the hell is going to win. I really don't. So, hell yeah. Next up, we had the Young Bucks on a shopping spree. They had a founding fathers limousine, and the kicks in the back, because gotta have the fits be fitting. Sneaker heads. And then they go down memory lane, flaunting the wealth, because apparently I don't know shit about geography. I mean, I thought Nashville was a state. I only learned like Nashville wasn't a state like a couple of months ago. Oh, it is a state. I can't remember. Either in a state, or I thought Nashville was in Texas. No, Nashville's a state. Nashville's a state. But I thought Nashville was in Texas. Like, it was a city in Texas. So yeah, don't fucking ask me about American geography. But yeah, apparently, I'm going to take their word for it that Ontario, California, is next to Rancho Cucamonga, whatever the hell the hometown's called. And also apparently, is it Washington DC? is that where Brody King's from? I swear he's from like Washington, right? Because they were saying, oh, it's near Brody King's home. I could just be spreading misinformation, so I'm just going to shut the fuck up. But point being, they're going down the home town, whatever the hell Rancho Cucamonga is, and they went to their school, and there was kind of like an erotic bear wrapped around a pole, which Taz just hyper fixated on, and it was quite hilarious. He was just absolutely bamboozled by that bear. That was the peak of this segment for sure. And then that led into the match for the number 2 spot at the men's casino gauntlet battle royale. We have MJF, AR Fox, or ARF as I abbreviate him to. If you want to put that like on your ring gear, maybe like ARF, like on your leggings, your tights. That's an idea. Bowens, Anthony Bowens, the Pride of Wrestling, which I love that moniker, the Pride of Wrestling. Oh, it's so strong. So much better than the 5-tool player. I'm glad that we're kind of retiring that one. And then Brody King. And at the start of the match, MJF, his bribe backfired on him, because Brody King, as we all know, he has no kings. He was at that match. So yeah, he ain't accepting no cash, unlike some people who are on Saudi blood money. But yeah, sorry, that was a bit much. It's just hard, right? It's just hard to watch your childhood heroes burn in real time. Like, okay, it's my podcast. I'm like, I can't talk about this. I want no. I'm actually going to talk about this. CM Punk to me, right, is like my childhood wrestling hero. Like he was like my childhood wrestling hero to me. Like I had such a parasocial, deep relationship with him, like growing up because, and I mean that in like the respect of like an emotionally vested relationship because for me, I've said this before on the podcast. When I was a little kid, like I always connected with him so much, and especially 2011, the summer of Punk. That year, like we were in between houses. We were technically homeless. Like, yeah, we were in like a crowded living situation, and that was when summer punk was for me when I was 11 years old, and it just really struck with me, and I just was obsessed with him as a wrestler, but obsessed with him as a person as well because obviously he blurred the reality of kayfabe and um, his pipe bombs, his notorious pipe bombs, and just how authentic he was. And I remember like the DVD that came out like the following summer. Um, like I used to fall asleep to it. Like I just respected him so much, right? And the years go by, the Ryback situation, the doctor situation, the knee situation, and he fell out of wrestling, UFC. It was a bit embarrassing, the UFC era. Looking back now, we can talk about it candidly as a CM Punk fan. It was a bit embarrassing, but still stuck by him. And then when he came back to AEW, boom, like that was amazing. And da da da. We don't need to go into all of that, but yeah, towards like the end of AEW reign, and then going back to WWE, I did start to look at him a little bit differently. And at that point, like to me, when people be like, "Oh, who's your favorite wrestler?" I'd be like, "I don't know," because like of all time, CM Punk. So I say that vested sort of childhood, emotional attachment that I had to him. But then like Kenny to me really impacted me as a wrestling fan. Like in 2016, I think it was 2016. Totally like opened all the doors for me as a wrestling fan and made me have a deeper appreciation for the sport and just I know I said earlier his humility is a bit of a hubris sometimes because I think he gets in his own way because he's so selfless, but yeah, like that also to me is so like I'm so drawn to that. And also the fact that when a year ago when they were all re-signing and the Bucks and Hangman, the Elite, and Kenny chose to stay with AEW, it was like, wow, like they're really putting their money where their mouth is. They really do believe in this, and that made my respect for him just skyrocket even more. But then when Punk and the Elite and Jack Perry and all that went down, I was like, yeah, like if anyone asks now from that point onwards, I was like, yeah, Kenny is my favorite wrestler just because how he handled that situation and versus how Punk handled it. It just made me feel disillusioned. And then it was like, okay, he went to WWE. I don't really have any interest in anything he's doing there. I don't really have any interest in WWE, but okay, cool. Like I'm kind of happy for him in a way because he's getting what he wanted, and it's probably a better fit for him and yada yada. But yeah, the Saudi thing, the apology, the personal apology to the Kingdom of Saudi, and the bullshit of like hiding behind, I just wanted to be mean to the Miz, all that. It's disheartening. How we got to that is because we were talking about Brody King having no kings and no king match. And obviously Punk went to no king match, but then obviously he does believe in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's just, yeah, it's just hard. It's not even like a funny meme, funny tweet, haha. It genuinely is like to me just sad. Like it's just really sad. Like I really like looked up to him as like a kid, and even though like I've grown up now and I'm an adult, and I see the world in less of a black and white spectrum. I think if you've got a childhood wrestling like hero, like you always will kind of hold that special place in your heart for them. But now it's like, yeah, it's just pathetic. And I never thought I would feel that way about him. I'm sorry. I'm like having a therapy session, but like I needed to get it off my chest on the podcast, But yeah, let's go into this match. So Brody King is like, fuck your Brab, MJF. This match was really fucking good as well. I had a hell of a lot of fun with this match. There was so much going on. Um, everyone was leveled out. It wasn't like one person was just kind of, in a four-way. Sometimes you can get someone that's just sort of in that, and it's not a bad thing, but in that sort of Thunder Rosa position of just getting people from A to B, like they're not getting their shit in. But everyone did. Everyone did. And yeah. I'm really not explaining any of these segments in a linear way. I'm really sorry. This is because like Lucy's not here, but yeah, Brody King, right? Let's go for the beginning. He doesn't accept the bribe. And the Max then hides behind the Hurt Syndicate, and he goes on commentary, and it's very comedic. Brody had a great start. He was unloading on Fox and Bowens. They had, sorry, they were sat on their respective chairs on the outside. Well, sat as though they were leisurely sat. No, they were like thrown onto those chairs, and we had like a series of like, I don't know, like forearms and maybe like a crossbody at one point. Just going back and forth. A lot of fun. And Fox is just fucking brilliant, and he's so great. I mean, the senton that he did off the top of the rope to the outside of the ring to Brody, and later, towards the end of the match, the corkscrew brainbuster that he did to MJF. Oh, perfection. And he's so much fun to watch because, like, for TV matches, you kind of get used to people's offense, and not that people dial it in, but it becomes a bit predictable, the flow of the match. But because his offense is kind of unorthodox and innovative, you don't really know where the flow's going, and so it captures my attention. It's very stimulating. It's very good for the ADHD brain. Yeah, and then we had MJF. He comes off commentary and he's got the chair. He goes after Brody King after the tope, and later he uses his scarf, which has gotten a lot skinnier. He's definitely into the whole Y2K baddie thing, I think, because he's kind of like really skinny at the minute. But anyway, he was choking out Fox and Bowen, so he was definitely making the most of, in typical MJF fashion, the fact that the stip means that you don't have to play by the rules. Yeah, and also towards the end of the match, we had Brody. Oh my God, yeah, MJF had the chair, and Brody just like punches the chair, but like I've never seen out like it. It was proper got that chair shot, like headshot with the chair to Max. It was very nasty. And then he stumbles back, and then we get the 3-for-1 cannonball in the corner. Like I said, everyone on top form. Yeah, and then we had Fox dive in to break the pin between Brody King and Bowens, and he gets caught in the salt of the earth, and that's how the match is concluded. Yeah, and then we have Matt Briscoe coming out and propositions that next week him and Max have a one-on-one talky talk. And then we got a talky talk chant, which was great. But yeah, and again, I've seen online people theorizing like, oh, I just really hope like Matt Briscoe and MJF like do a program together because I just want to see him talk. And then instantly it's like, oh, they're doing a talking segment. I swear Tony Khan is creeping online. I swear he's so on the r squared circle. He's so there. But then this segment wasn't over, because then with freaking Jet Speed coming out, seemingly no selling the previous week's beatdown, but then they revealed like they had the sort of midriff tape. But yeah, they soon leveled out though, and then we had a very comedic bit of Kevin Knight being like, "We won't be beat down," and Mike Bailey, even though like he's also every bit that fired up Babyface, he just kind of seemed like, dude, shut the fuck up. At least that's how I read it. Yeah, so they're beaten down again, and Kevin Knight is like, we're still alive, and they called out Shelton for a one-on-one at Collision, which will be a great match, I'm sure. Definitely be worth watching. Yeah, so jet speed, right? Okay, like this was comedic. This was comedic, and I'm just anything that the Hurt Syndicate are involved with is just amazing at the minute. Everything that they do is just gold to me. I eat that shit up. I love it. But like, okay, it makes sense for their characters, right? They're green in terms of AW. They're new starts, and they won't be pushed down. They're here to make a name for themselves. They're here to win the tag titles, and they're not gonna let the Hurt Syndicate's like obvious strength push them down. But also, it's like I feel like to beat the Hurt Syndicate, right? If you're not as strong as them, you at least have to be more intelligent than them. So I'm like, to me, for Jet Speed to feel like they could legit overtake, I'm not saying they should or would do that, but for me to feel like it's equal, they need that cerebral element. So I'm like, imagine, right, if, for example, this is just an example, if Ricochet, because he wants like some lackeys, and they would never join up, right? I agree. I probably would be a bad idea, but all I'm saying is like that kind of like cerebral leadership. Like I don't know, it just never really feels legit. But it's a fun time, right? And it was a fun segment, and the whole it's very pantomime. Oh, he's getting up and he's wanting some more. How much punishment can these guys take? Um, but yeah, lots going on for the Hurt Syndicate. Then we had the first of our heroes versus villains match because, like I said, the Superman sponsor episode. I mean, there was more Superman. No one's. I haven't seen pick on more Superman bloody sponsorship than Dynamite 300. But what can you do? I was gonna say get that bag, but then like. No, it's not hypocrisy though, is it? Because like super money from Superman and money from Saudi Arabia is just not comparable, is it? Um, well, I don't know. It's from Hollywood money. Right. So, but yeah, 300 also, it's not that. I mean, it's a milestone, right? But it's not like 100 or 1000 or 500. To me, those are the milestones. Or 250, I feel like. Like, if I was gonna, yeah, have the milestones, it'd be 100, 250, 500, 1000. And then after you hit 1000, like, you don't really celebrate unless it's like 2000. 300 is just kind of random. I feel like they were, and I feel like because they've had so much going on every week. Sorry, I feel like this podcast episode is really terrible because I'm just throwing shit at you. Every thought, I've got no filter. Every thought I've got is just coming at you. But it's like they've got so much going on. They were like, oh, fuck me. Do you know what? The week before the go home show, it's the 300th episode. Let's have something for it. But it wasn't like but I'm not mad at it is my point because 300 is a very random number. They also did some cool poster on Instagram like stats and stuff, so that was kind of fun. But yeah, this was the heroes versus villains part one match, which was very cheesy and corny, but I kind of liked it. With the founding fathers arriving in their limo with Takeshita, and they were against Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bandito. And yeah, so yeah, this match was also a lot of fun. And as like a huge Young Bucks fan, aka as a very insufferable person, um, go watch our only. See, I'm like gaslighting myself there. Our first all in vlog. Like, dude, you only filmed the last year's. But yeah, I am going. I'm very drunk in that, and it's probably the most embarrassing thing that exists of me on the internet, which is always great. But I'm going fucking mental there because those are my boys and the crowd. Because as to be believed, it's near their hometown. They were going crazy for them, which my heart was so warmed. Like yes, finally, the earth is healing. The grass is blooming, the flowers are blossoming. Like, yes, some respect for the Young Bucks. Finally, that made me very very happy. But also, this match was a lot of fun, and it didn't necessarily on paper. Well, the guys in the match were fun, but as I said, I'm very over the Paragon and fucking stupid Don Callis family thing. Like I hate it. It's so dry to me. And this was pinned up as heroes versus villains, but because the books were being cheered for, it made it less about the Paragon versus Don Callis family. It kind of just felt like, oh, look at Takeshita and the books working really well together, and also Bandido's really strong. That was kind of like what I got from this. But yeah, I also thought it was a great match for AEW 300. A lot of them were great matches. It's just a great fucking showcase, and it makes me happy that also the books were featured on Dynamite 300 because yeah, they are the founding fathers, the elite, like the elite. They opened the show, Hangman. Then we had the books, and then we had Kenny at the end. Like that warms my heart. Like, oh, I don't really understand how you can like AEW, especially since the start, and not like the elite, including the Young Bucks. I don't get it. Like, oh, that's our founding fathers. Like, put some respect on them, put some respect on their name. But yeah, this was just fucking awesome. Like, awesome wrestling, awesome, just so fun. And Bandido, like, his strength is just crazy. Like, I'm on the Bandido hype train. I get it. I respect him. Yeah. And I think him playing into that has like really taken him in my eyes to like the next level, because it's like you can't argue with that. Do you know what I mean? You can't be like, you're an NPC. A man's fucking lifting someone one hand. I can't put him on the NPC tier when he's popping his bandussy like that. You know, I have to also put respect on the name of Bandido. I have to be unbiased. I have to call it how I see it. Catchphrase, say what you see. Yeah, also, it was announced that we had the Supercard of Honor. We've got Takeshita against Bandido. So that's pretty exciting. That is pretty exciting. One of my sort of New Year's resolutions, which I've been reflecting on recently, because it's midway through the year, right? So it's a good time for reflection. And at the start, me and Lucy both were like, well, one of our wrestling resolutions is we want to be like how we were when we were young whippersnappers, young teenage girls, and we used to watch all the fucking wrestling all the time. And we knew that it wouldn't be practical that we'd be able to do that, but we definitely wanted to branch out more. And I had good intentions at the start of the year, and I definitely have been watching way more New Japan than previously, which makes me happy because I enjoy it. So it's like, why the fuck do I not watch it more regularly? I don't know. Tried NXT 2.0. Did fairly enjoy it for what it was, to be fair. Could probably pick that back up. And Ring of Honor, you know, I haven't really delved into like any like the specials or anything. I never watched the weekly programming. So, and I actually watched Collision. I tried to watch Collision more regularly as well. Point being, reflecting on the resolution, I'm like, actually, you know, I might watch Supercard of Honor. I might actually do that, because that match looks really good. And also, I get to see more Athena, and I love Athena. So, yeah. Yeah. It's just hard. Being an adult sucks. Your fucking childhood heroes are sucking Saudi dick blood money, and you have to work, and you have less time to watch pro wrestling. Although, you know, the real die-hard wrestling fans, you know, they're probably unemployed. So maybe that's what I need to be, unemployed, so I can fully commit myself to all the mediums and promotions of pro wrestling that are out there. But yeah, point being, that sounds pretty tasty to me, that match. It was I believe the Thunderbomb for the win, Raging Fire. And it was nice to see Takeshi get the win as well. Nice to see him come out strong. And then we had Swerve and right. Oh my god! Right. So the books at the end, they were standing on the turnbuckle. You know, they're like, yeah, you know, getting their flowers. And I was literally speaking out loud to myself because I'm crazy. And I talked to myself and I went, that's really lovely. That. And then fucking Swerve and Osprey came and attacked him, and I got a bit of heat from him for that. Like, I love Swerve and Osprey, don't get me wrong, but I just thought they were really mean here. They were really, really mean. Like, just let the Young Bucks enjoy their victory, you bastards. But Swerve's like, I want an answer. And he also clarified, because we did have someone in our comments who was clearly listening, and I clearly was not listening now. Clearly, I'm delusional and I just hear what I want to hear, which is probably the case. That they're not going to receive the EVP powers. They just want to get rid of him from the book. So when I heard this at first, I was like, lame, lame. Like, you could have done so much fun shit with that. But then the books were like, well, fuck that. Like, why the fuck would we be in a match where we could lose IVP powers and, like, what's the point? Like, stupid. And then Ospreay's like, you might be interested in this. Without seemingly consulting Swerve that much about it, he was like, oh, if you beat us both, then me and Swerve can't challenge for the world title for a year. So then that made up for it. That stuck a little plaster on it, because I was like, oh, that's juicy. That is very, very juicy. So that then returned my intrigue into this match. Swerve did not look too happy about this. But yeah, like, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy, because that really throws a spanner in the works, because if they lose, and I believe that Hangman is going to win the belt, then him and Swerve won't be able to feud for a whole year. And that then throws all the spanners in the works for my hypothesis of Swerve becoming a heel and going after Hangman. But then I was like, you know what, seeing those two in the next match, I was like, well, actually, they make a great tag team, so why don't they go against the Hurt Syndicate? Because that would be legit. Like, that's unfortunately or fortunately, however the fuck you want to look at it, the Hurt Syndicate have been so built and protected. I mean, how the fuck could they not? Look at them. Look at them. They are like crazy, like crazy physicality, crazy, like, in shape. Like, you can't just have jet speed, love him, but like two twinks just rocking up and beating him. Like, that's just not believable. The Swerve and Ospreay could be believable, so I'm like, okay, maybe they'll go do some side quests or something. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the Bucks could just lose, but that would be kind of lame, because like the EVP thing is their thing. So it's like, if they don't have that, what do they have? Or maybe they're just vying up for like another Hawaii vacation. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen? Because obviously this is all going to interlink. Because the decision that's made in this match is going to impact the world title. So they're going to have to work in synergy with one another. So it's very, very interesting. Especially because this match will 100% be on before. So, oh my God, what if like they do lose, right? And so they can't challenge for a whole year, and then Swerve is the one who, not Darby, like Darby does help, right? But Swerve is the one who like gives like the helping hand, the last helping hand to Hangman, tell him beat Mox, and it's so selfless. Oh my God, who would cry? I would cry. That would be fantastic. Yeah. And then we had, this was so wild. Sorry, I feel kind of bad because I didn't know that Rachel B woman, but I do know Henry Cavill and I do know Nicholas Hoult. I love Nicholas Hoult, and it was just crazy that like they were just there with MJF and Kenny. Kenny was being such a dork. Like, I know it's like scripted, but he was like, "I've got a cape." It's just like, bro, you with Henry Cavill, man. Like, you with Nicholas Hoult. Nah, Nicholas Hoult, he probably loved it, but I don't know. I just like that. I was like, that is a crossover that I need in my life. Although I always get like Nicholas Hoult and Freddie Highmore like confused. But I think it's Nicholas Hoult, right? Nicholas Holt's the one in Renfield and the Skins, right? And Freddie Highmore's the one in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The Johnny Depp one. And Freddie Highmore's the one that's like, I am a surgeon. I am a surgeon. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud. But yeah, I liked that. And then we went into Swerve and Osprey versus Dralistico and Big Match Mortos. Big Money Mortos. Oh dear. And you know what? I was loving their gear. Like, they were bedazzled. Like, they had rhinestone that shit. They were looking amazing. Oh my gosh. So good. Putting some effort. I like it. And yeah, this was more typical of the cheesy, as I say, Superman freaking, baddies and good guys. Because yeah, they just the luchas, the heel luchas. They just, I mean, Mortos. He's called the Beast fucking Mortos. And like Jalisco, he's got like, oh, like his mask is looking crazy. Like these people are crazy. Like it's giving video game. It's giving Final Fantasy. It's giving Street Fighter. It's giving Mortal Kombat. It's giving, I can't think of another game like that, but you know my point. Um, yeah, and like I said, Swerve and Osprey, they worked really well in tandem together, as always. We had the Swerve Stomp into the Storm Breaker, and the Styles Clash to the House Call on Dralistica for the win. Can't be pinning Mortos. He's protected. Um, but yeah, it was like all that sort of mixed offense that got me thinking, huh, you guys would actually work really well as like a permanent team together. Not forever, but like they could have a run with the belts. I think as well sometimes like when it's so short, like Swerve and Osprey, right? They're future Hall of Famers, so why not give them another notch on their belt, as it were? Like, why not? Because when you finish your career, it looks really good and it sounds really good to be like, oh, well, and I also won the tag titles that time, even though I'm not a tag guy, because it's just like that's how accomplished I am. And with Kenny as well, like I know in the past when he'd spoken in interviews and stuff, he'd said that his mindset, I think like pre-diverticulitis, I don't know if it's his mindset now, but used to be that to be the best, I have to be the best at everything. So I want to be the best trios guy. I want to do tag. I want to do, I want to do the international. I want to do tournaments. I want to do G1. I want to wrestle in Japan, Mexico, everywhere. So, you know, that's my argument as to why like I think it would be fun. And the Hurt Syndicate, I don't know, like who is going to beat them? Who is going to stop them? Some That's the level in my mind that it needs to be at to beat them. Um, and maybe like because Osprey, sorry, maybe because MJF, because he wants to be in with like the Triple B, right? He wants to be in the main event title scene. Maybe if he's like part of the reason why Swerve and Osprey are able to win, and then he gets kicked out of the Hurt Syndicate, and then he can kind of transition out into the world title scene because Swerve and Osprey will be kind of coming out into like a different area. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that could work, guys. I feel like it could work. And then the main event, which was the most anticipated thing for me, like the thing I was most excited for was Ibushi versus Okada, and oh, it was just so great to see these two go at it. I'm just still of the mindset of I'm just really happy to have Ibushi back. I'm really happy to just see him in so much better form than he was a couple of years ago. And yeah, I thought they used the anticipation use the anticipation of the match, sorry, to their advantage. They eased themselves in before totally locking in. It was a shame that it was a TV main event match because that's like 10, 15 minutes, 15 I think with like ad breaks. But at the same time, it's sensible because it's like Ibushi's fourth or fifth match back, I forget, but it's one of the two. And so like yeah, you want to protect him, you don't want to overexpose him. Okada's a great worker for that as well, I think. But yeah, I just want to see Ibushi do everything. I just love him so much. Oh my god, though, but like, cause like, sorry, I'm like skipping ahead, but because they reunited, maybe like the Golden Lovers, like that's a strong team that could beat the Hurt Syndicate, you know. I've just got the Hurt Syndicate on my brain. It's like brain rot. Um, but yeah, I thought Okada as well, it was fun because he was wrestling a more personal match, whereas not 90% of Okada's matches he wrestles, especially from the start, a very like synthetic surface level match. He just kind of doesn't really care about his opponent, but obviously him and Ibushi have history and it runs quite deep, so it was fun to kind of see an opponent be under Okada's skin from the start. Um, yeah, and oh my god, the Avalanche Tiger Driver to Okada. Whew, Jesus Christ. Okada was like, he was taking them bumps. And also, amazing to just see Ibushi doing all that, doing his strikes, just being on great, great form. I haven't really seen people talk about this match as much. Like people were piping up like, "Oh well, he's not as good as he was, but still cool." I haven't really seen like many snarky comments like that, so that's good. Appreciate, just be appreciative, guys. Just practice wrestling gratitude, like I taught you. But it was the decisive rainmaker that landed Okada the win, and obviously, that was going to be the case because he has to further his momentum. 10 days before All In, he's going against Kenny. Can't exactly be pinned by Bushi, can he? But yeah, for what it was, I had a lot of fun, and yeah, could watch it 20 more times. Fantastic. Give me 15 of them. Give me 20 of them. Give me 50 of them. I love it. But then we had the Callis family coming in and having a beatdown on Ibushi. Lance is setting him up for. Lance kind of looked a bit like Guy Fieri. I don't know what he's having like a crisis. I don't know what's going on with his look. But anyway, he's trying to set him up for a choke slam, and Kenny comes in with the chair. Beretta is behind him though, as he's sort of tending to his golden lover, his golden star. Beretta's there with a baton, and he's disarmed by Ibushi, and we get the reunion of the golden lovers, which was like what a perfect ending to Dynamite 300. Friendship and love, friendship and love. But yeah, love that. BL Yowie Slayful ending to Dynamite 300. Um, so yeah, obviously like, you see my point. I talked it through. Like I really, really enjoyed it, but like there was just certain things where was just like, huh, huh, huh. Um, fuck, I ain't even thought about a rating. This is the thing when you're alone. You can't stall. You can't stall. You just gotta talk, and that's like dangerous for me. Talking is dangerous. Thinking is dangerous. I feel like it should be quite high. It's Dynamite 300, baby. I want to give it like I don't know. I'm stuck between like a 9 or a 9.5. I'm kind of stuck. Cause like it was really, like I said before at the start, I think it was a really great cast of people, great card that they put together, um, to be representative of the past and the future. But it was mainly focused on the now, like what is Dynamite, where are we at, and what's like the peak of what we've got right now. All the big stars there. Um, Oh, I don't know. Like 9.5 just seems really, really high though. I just wish I had someone to like talk to about this. I don't want to make a decision. It's scary. Um, like was it really that good? But then like obviously the start, I didn't really like the feeling of that. Um, I'm gonna go for 9.5 then, guys. You know, love wins. Love the golden lovers, guys. It glazed it for me. Oh yeah, fuck it. Oh my God, kicking the camera. I'm back. But yeah, that is it really. Also, I believe that Jim Ross, he's already announced previously that he is cancer free, which yeah, obviously we're so happy about that. I mean, fucking Ric Flair was popping off about that. That's old news, though. That's old news. That's it. He was announced to return to AEW commentary at All in Texas. It was a week ago that he confirmed that his cancer is gone. He's feeling good, so that's also really great. I'm glad that we're gonna have Jim Ross on comms, and I'm glad that he's feeling better. Especially since when like the news is announced, I didn't really yeah, it was like Dynamite, and they were like, "We're sending, we're thinking about Jim Ross," and I was like, "Is Jim Ross dead? Like, I'm not ready for that." Okay, no, that can't happen. Um, but yeah, 9.5 sure. Next week, go home sure. Then fucking all in, and then all out. Oh my god, oh my god, shake it all about. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild. I'm scared. I'm scared though. Are you scared? I'm scared. Darby Allin's scaring me. But yeah, please let me know what you thought about anything in general. Yeah, wrestling in general, the vibes. I'm very tired. I'm rubbish at closing out. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Let me know your rating, and Lucinda will be back next week for me. With me, can't even speak about. With me, the dream team will be reunited, and we'll give you all of our thoughts on All In, the lead up, the event, and the fallout. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Bye.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye, and good night, bye.
I wish you died in the womb!